Yeah, welcome everyone for today daily call. Today I'll start the discussion with a question. I was talking with Joel Binay Kumar. He was contributing into some of the design in the Figma. He come up with some kind of UI UX design, and he was really excited about contributing the project and help other people to grow. He is working as a full stack developer into one startup. So I was talking, one important question he raised, like our onboarding document is very spot on. We have detailed instruction about how to create the first PR, how to create the second PR and third PR also on. So this is just to make that beginner ready. But once they do that, what should they do next? So that is the question. I would like the opinion from all the people who want to help me suggest. I am also struggling to come up with the proper answer. So once one beginner came and we direct to onboarding document, so he gone through and understand FAQ also, he gone through that document, but how he can pick the task, how we can organize the code much better, and or how we can help them to start contributing to the code, because it is not very clear in terms of our message that what he should do next. Because what happened, the people are joining
Uh,
daily. I can see like fork is
I
happening. I can see like people are joining in a regular basis in different forums. So once onboarding process completed, what we should do next? Is there any video we have to create, or we can
I
create some documentation, or we can create some other approach? Yeah,
I
Pranav.
have a suggestion.
Go ahead, Pranav.
Yeah. So I think we should uh, point them toward the issues and to which were labeled as good first issue or beginner issue, so they can also look into the code, like what is the issue happening, and if they know how to solve it, they can do that. Or if they are interested in solving some issues, they can also ask for help, like how can I solve it, and someone will guide bullet points that you can try doing that, and so on, and he will then do that. So that will be he will be it will be more easier for him to get on the code.
Yeah, very good suggestion, Pranav. Yeah, just today I want to listen from different perspective instead of giving the reply to all and every people. Yeah. So anybody want to comment on Pranav, like what's his approach? What is you can see like issues, how we can encourage people to start coding?
Yeah, hi Praful. Vijay Bhaskar here. So I think as Praful told, like we need to, as Pranav told, as we need to differentiate between beginner tasks. I think the first primary code or the contribution they can do is like understanding what the main objective of Twindle is, like the getting the Twitter thread to a PDF. So as that's kind of a main approach, I think if they can actually try to get some hands-on approach, like uh, uh, how the HTML is being converted, or HTML can be maybe making a template. So I think because the all other parts where, because Twitter API would be a complicated stuff, because that's the main point where actually the project starts, like the application starts, like we go to Twitter API, we use Twitter API to get the tweet, and then we get into HTML and convert into PDF. So in this process, I think a beginner where they can directly pitch in is like the conversion of HTML at least. So how they can actually first of course I take prerequisite that they know HTML. So after that, how they can convert that into a kind of PDF, rather than not using the Puppeteer and all, but kind of a basic stuff, so that then we can on above that we can talk about like this Puppeteer or handlebars and everything. So I think that kind of approach at least will start get contributing and understanding understanding the code which is already there in our repository. So that's my thing. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Vijay. Yeah, as I said, I want to hear different people' opinion just to have some my thought process running. Anybody else?
Yeah. Yeah,
Can I
Prabhu.
say something?
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. So I was talking to my brother. I introduced him to Twindle, and we were both taking a look at the repository as a whole. And he has some prior experience with open source code. So the way we were looking at it was, we looked at the HTML part of the layouts. Like as a beginner, the objective of the project is to get threads from Twitter. So yeah, that part is clear. But how, as a person, I can contribute? So for example, if one person could be he might be an expert in developing HTML pages, another person might be an expert in writing Node.js applications for command line interface. So based on whatever their interest is, I think if we can make, we already have enough video resources to point to different parts of the project, like the HTML landing pages. Different people have created their own templates, so, and we have some good video resources on how they have done it. So they can take a look at those resources, and then if they can create a similar template, that's one thing that they can contribute. And the other thing is, I looked at the JavaScript code that we have for different kinds, like the PDF conversion and all those small applications. So yeah, they can take a look at that playground folder and see if they can contribute something there. So I mean, it's not just about the Twitter thread to PDF or whatever. So whichever portion of the project they can contribute to, we can make some kind of timeline for them to pick one of these tasks.
Yeah, thank you, Mira. Yeah, it's very good suggestion. As I said, I just want to have an open ear. I want to understand like what other people thought process is. You want to add anything else, Mira, or you want to ask somebody else to pinch in?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. No, actually, that's how we looked at it. And he was very keen. My brother was very keen with the way the project was structured. And he had some ideas on some HTML layouts. Like the layouts that we have, he took a look at them and he said, yeah, they were pretty good for beginner level projects. And he said he will contribute the same way, like the way they have done it. So that's why I wanted to pitch in this. So we can create different kinds of timelines where we can show them that they can contribute in this path or this path, kind of like a full stack developer. Then you have different layers where they can contribute.
Okay, thank you, Mira. Anybody else want to pinch in?
Yes, Prabhu, I want to tell something because I am facing the same problem. So first, I think first of all, beginner should know a little bit HTML. So he can be encouraged to study the HTML first and how, for example, I want to convert JavaScript into HTML and how I can prepare that HTML with the help of JavaScript. That should be the first thing, because if one understand JavaScript a little bit and know how the conversion take place between JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, then it will be easy to pitch into the code, and as as he can, the beginner can progress to other things, I think.
Yeah, thank you, TRT. Then
Right.
Steve.
Hi, Praful.
Yeah, hi, Ederinto.
Yeah. So I sort of agree with what everyone has sort of said earlier on, and because this is a project that's involved a lot of beginners, I myself, I mean, I'm a beginner. I just understand basics in HTML and CSS and JavaScript, but there might be people who are not even, who are completely new to the world of development. So my suggestion would be, if we have a couple of sessions where you have one person, either we're using Discord, who would now walk everyone through like the HTML part, the CSS part, and the JavaScript part as well. So if we can have a couple of sessions where someone walks, the way you'd walk a beginner through the code to explain the code. So that's the HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript, and then obviously we will record these sessions as well, and then it will be easier for newer people to follow through, to understand it, and everyone who joins the project newly also would have those videos as references for them to go and view. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, thank you, Drinto. Yeah, it sounds good. Thank you for that. I just want to capture the information. I hope like Sarath is also taking notes. Like, this is very difficult problem to tackle. I have lots of opinion, lots of, but I don't know what is the optimal solution. But I just want to hear out different people, different opinion. How after that onboarding process, how we can encourage them to start coding, both beginner and little bit intermediate skill level. Anybody else want to?
I think that I think. Oh, I'm sorry, Praful. Just a quick feedback. So, in terms of being able to encourage people to start coding, is basically maybe we form teams, put people into different teams based on their capabilities, and assign tasks to that team. So that way, it becomes the team effort to self-manage themselves to be able to produce what they need to produce, rather than maybe someone like you having to chase everyone individually. But if we have teams of 5, for example, and if each team have their respective group tasks to deal with, I'm sure that team will be able to self-manage and produce what they need to produce without one person overall having to run after everyone's task.
Yeah, sounds interesting, Adriento. I don't want to give opinion. I just want to hear it out. Maybe we can discuss more elaborately each and every topic. Well, I think Sarath is taking notes as well, but I want to take every point very seriously.
I think that, yeah, go ahead, Melissa.
Sorry. Okay, that we can also do for beginners to try to recreate something that is already done. For example, with the HTML, because there could be people who know the basics, but even with the basics, they don't know. Like CSS, for example, is so wide open. Like you have so many things that you can use and combine, but sometimes you are not aware of that. So how are you gonna create if you don't have something like a draft in your mind? So what they can do maybe is like set one design that is already done for anyone and make them try to recreate it, maybe with different colors or with different sizes, but try to recreate if they have animations or if they are separated, so they can be more familiar with it. And that could be also for JS, to make them recreate what is now, till they feel more comfortable with.
Yeah, sounds very good, Melissa. Yeah, thank you. Can
Yeah, just adding to what everyone has said. Um, for each of the tasks, I think we can ensure that we are putting like granular labels, so that we can label the tasks as having HTML or CSS or JavaScript, or maybe specifically Node.js or anyhow. And then on the onboarding documentation, we could say, okay, these are the tasks, and we can create a link to that label, which would be like filtering all the open issues based on that label. Perhaps someone could, based on their interest, they could just click on the label and see. Yeah, based on that, they can go ahead and see the open tasks. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Kenny. Yeah, sounds like a good idea. I'm just want to hear out more discussion, more. Like anybody else want to pinch in?
Yeah.
Like Fabio, you want to tell your opinion as a beginner? Like once you do the first PR, second PR, and after some day you let's assume that you fix your merge conflict. What guidance you need from the
Yes,
team
Praful.
to?
I think I was hearing Melissa and Mira too, and all of them. I think what if we assign some or maybe for example like Pranav that he said he could help me to solve my problem. Uh, what about that possibility? For example, I can help someone who have some issues with HTML, maybe, and maybe CSS. Mm, not maybe not JavaScript because I'm not I'm not a mm, how to say that I don't know too much about the language. But what about that possibility? Hmm?
Yeah, see, we have to teach everybody once after you are created a first PR, right? You are knowledgeable than other people who
Mhm.
are beginner who never created PR. You no need to know everything, but if you know how to create the first PR means you are knowledgeable. Lots of people struggling. We can see in the issue lead PR, right? Many people don't know how to create the first
Mhm.
PR. So I encourage everyone to help each other. That is, there is no doubt on that. But how? The question is how we can know that you are exist and you are available, and which time you are available, and which medium you are comfortable in helping people out. So all that needs to flesh out in a little bit structured format. Let's say I come into board, I have one issue, whom to approach.
Mhm.
Like if I'm seeing like posting in
Mhm.
Twitter, nobody is responding, so I'll get discouraged. And at the same time, we can't
Yes.
expect everybody to be available. So we have to come up with some kind of mechanism process so that you see at one point Pranav want to help you. It is not that you should not come to this meeting and ask like help. It should happen out of this meeting. The connection
Mhm.
should build.
I have a suggestion
God, Pranav.
on that. Like we can also add a MD file in our report. Like these are the people which have knowledge about HTML and CSS and which can guide you through how you can start. And we can also add the timing, like from rough timing, like at this time I will be available roughly. And if you have any problem, you can pitch me on Twitter or DM me, or you can also message me on other, like we can add some social media link there so he can uh, ask uh, if he is available, or he can also comment on that uh, issue, or he can make a issue that he need help with
Okay.
elaborate like what he is facing on now.
Can we add our Twitter handle on teams.md?
Yes, we can add. I don't have any objection to anything. Yeah, let us hear from some other people.
Okay.
Like we'll
Yeah,
discuss,
bravo.
elaborate more. Go ahead, Aram.
Yeah, I feel like since everybody is willing to help, especially mentors and okay, those who have experience, let me put it that way. So I feel like okay, then now maybe converting uh, HTML, like converting it to structured into PDF and all of that. I mean, maybe since there are various methods and none of them have been agreed on, maybe this specific one have been agreed on that, okay, we are going to use this to do this. Then I feel like they need to make time, like maybe when you are free, when those who are willing to help the beginners go through that process of even trying to convert all of the Twitter threads into PDFs and all of that, and then mockups and the CLIs and all of that. I feel like maybe when they think they are free, when they have the time, maybe they can post it, okay, I'm free at this time. Anybody who wants to learn this can come around. Then we go through the process. I mean, other than that, maybe somebody would like to learn this, but reaching out, maybe the person is also busy. You get it? So I feel like maybe those who are willing to help, the experienced ones who are willing to help, should say, okay, at this time, I'm available at this time. So we are going to do this topic. Anybody who is interested in that topic should reach out to me. Then I think the learning will go through that. Like the learning process will start from there. Then maybe recreating some of these that have been already been created, so that at least everybody will learn something from it, especially the beginners, the beginners.
Yeah, this sounds like a very good idea, Aram. Yeah, thank you for that. This is very important, but I think we'll keep on discussing how we can do it, achieve it more effectively. Anybody else has one more want to pinch in? If you don't talk about your problem, it is very difficult to come up with the solution. Like Praveen, what is the problem you are facing? Praveen Kumar?
Yes, I think everyone. I think if you say that, because as Praful said, it's impossible to know that. Feel free.
I think Praveen was having some mic issue yesterday. Maybe it's not fixed.
Okay, anybody else want to, like Satyakibo, Saurav or Sekhar? You want to jump in, guys?
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hello. Yeah, I think I totally missed this call because because of electricity issue. So I'll be taking a pause this meeting for now.
Okay, no problem, Saurav.
Prof, I wanted to ask a question.
Yes, Aram.
Hello. Yeah, I wanted to ask the experienced ones. Maybe to some of them should share their experience, how they started their very first open source project. What they went through. And how they were able to contribute, so that maybe we can learn something from this.
See, that open source contribution is a little bit black box, okay? Usually, the way people will approach or I approached earlier, I'm not very active in open source contribution as such, but a couple of small experience I have, like which of the issue you are facing, you try to resolve it and raise a pull request. And it is a little bit intimidating for the beginner. So we can, because the projects are very big and mostly funded by big companies, so lots of, they're trying to not beginner friendly most of the project. Beginners, and also if you are like self driven, then only you can contribute. You need to have some skill bar to start contributing. But we can discuss more on that, but let's focus our energy into how we can do much better here, because comparing other project may not be apply one to one in our case. Okay, anybody else want to pinch in? If not,
Hello.
yes, Sekhar.
Hello. Yeah, I want to say that last night I usually from the VS Code, I usually read some codes like HTML and CSS homepage, and I gradually I faced there was a problem like yeah WebKit and sort. Yes, and I raised the PR. So I think this is also type of learning process. Is it to review or to read some codes, some other codes, and know how to make pages and how to contribute, or if there is some mistakes, try to solve, and how to solve, like searching on Google on anywhere else, and try to give the solution and raise the PR. And if someone is not understanding how to solve it, then ask to the mentor or whoever have some knowledge about it. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good, Sekar. I would like to summarize. Like, Sarath, you want to summarize, or do you want me to let me tell what I think?
No, go ahead. Let's hear what you have in mind, and then I can add my 2 cents.
Okay. See, we have, let's say, a couple of ideas, right? For example, Adreno suggested that we can have a team. Mira suggested like we can have some schedule or deadline. Or Melissa suggested that we can have some mock project. And we have, I may miss a couple of them, but Sarath is noting it down. So we have lots of information, but the important thing is that only by all of us like to talk, including me, and that message will get lost. And nobody in the beginner is not going to come and watch this daily call and get some understanding. Few people may like, few people may not like. So that one critical aspect in open source contribution is that we have to document it. Like if you're motivated about some aspect, for example, Adrento, like team building. So I would suggest Adrento, you have to create one issue and flesh out all your information in terms of like some kind of wording. Like I think this is, and you have to take some proactive action, because here who will do that? The question is not that it is not good idea or bad idea, but who is going to do that? So you have to take the lead and have to drive it. For example, if you believe on the team activity is going to help, so you have to create an issue, and you can observe that people who is contributing HTML CSS. Then you can by start your creating HTML group is like, for example, Melissa, Titli, Tushar, and you can try to form a group and encourage the participation. And you can, because if you're expecting somebody else, what is the problem we have, we can give suggestion and expect somebody else will help us to do make it reality. That is not going to work, because all people who is work in different aspect of the because my priority at this moment is to create in the high picture, come up with that coding. So I have some other priorities. I'm driving it. You can see that, right? I'm passionate about creating story tasks, and I'm doing that driving myself. So if you want to drive a team, first activity is that you create an issue. Second thing, put as much as information, like few line or more elaborate. More elaborate is always better. But if you're lazy like me, then you can create a YouTube video, or like you don't need to finalize. You create like video, explain like what is the team and how you encourage people, and message into the Twitter group, Discord. Form a team by yourself. There should not be any stopping. Then also, if let's say people will say instruction, like if you say some words, like Mira said and Melissa said it is a good idea, so they will jump in. They'll help you to achieve your goal. Adrian, do you understood what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're expecting that Kenny will do that, Sarath will do that, and Praful will do that, unfortunately the answer would be no. And you don't need to be feel shy. Like if you have like some idea, you have to create an issue. Put as much as more information is always better. So you because issue creation is very simple. You can create as many issues. There is no restriction on that, right? And even though, see, for example, couple of posts I have written, nobody like, nobody reply. If I feel offended, it doesn't work out that manner. You have to create jumping out issue. If there is not getting traction, means it will die away. If you say if you issue, then slowly one day after 10-15 days, you'll come and slowly delete it without telling anybody. That means nobody cares. If you care about the idea, you have to be a brand ambassador by yourself. You got it? Federico?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear.
So you are going to create an issue, discuss about team, and take the initiative to how to form the team.
Yeah, I'll do that.
So you can put anybody in a team, and you ask them, DM them, group them. You see that problem. So whether they like it, we can't dictate. We can encourage, we can motivate, we can but there is no dictate. We can't force anybody. If it is successful, then well and good.
Sure.
So you are taking all the credit, and you will feel proud, right? You have come up with the team process. Okay, I think you are clear on that. What needs to be done. I just want clearly defined action item so that you have something to work on that. And now next I'll go to ARAM. I like the idea of ARAM. Okay, because he said like somebody needs to be mentor and take some classes. So Aram, can you create an issue? Same, I won't repeat again. Can you create an issue and approach all the people who want to take session and collaborate? And can you coordinate with which time, which Discord channel, where he will go? And can you be a brand ambassador? The mentor, you can't force him to go and circulate the message. He is happy to come. You can take his time, and you have to promote into all the group. You have to approach Kenny to post into 3 Twitter group. You can tweet it message. You can do, you can just make some noise. Like if you want some session, so you go to the individual, now lots of people, right? 20 people, and you know who is contributing what. So go and ask people, like anybody interested to talk about Git, or anybody interested to talk about HTML, CSS, or anybody interested to talk anything else. Book the time and go and try to, pitch everywhere. Like we are having session this time. So anybody want to join, please join. Because what is the problem? That whoever want to teach, right, they will be excited to teach, but there should be audience, because to get in the audience is difficult, because the problem is that we all have our own busy time, we different time zone we are working. So I want this time zone, I want that time zone, so it would be challenge to sync everything, and I may not be interested into HTML, CSS. So getting the right audience, right time, right place is very difficult challenge. I like the idea, but you have to encourage on doing that. So, Aram, are you going to create an issue and follow through it?
Sure, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, Melissa? I think you talk about the
I
exercise,
can
right?
help it. Yeah, yeah, but if it's gonna be with teams, I can help creating the teams also, and we can start assigning tasks, small tasks.
Yeah, you can pair with that. If it is not only the adherent responsibility, if you believe in his idea, just pair with him, collaborate with him, and work together. End of the day, I want some traction, whichever is work better, whichever you are interested in. Because, for example, here I'm more interested into understanding the mentorship, getting training out of it. You may be interested into the team aspect of it. So whoever is interested in which area, we should collaborate and make it success.
Okay.
And also, I want Kenny anyway doing that. So I want just labeling. Also, Melissa, one task for you, because you created onboarding document, right? Maybe we have to come up with some other issue, creating what next after onboarding. Like when you created the mini exercise, right? You have to clearly mention that this is the one sample, go through that code and read through the code, because Sekhar also pointed out he learn more about coding that. And also we have some activity like running this task, execute all the people code. You today you did, right? Yesterday or today? Running other people code.
Yeah, I can get that. Yeah, I can get the document too.
Yeah, maybe you update the onboarding document, or you can take help from somebody else, but it should be clearly communicated, like, because you expecting a beginner to go into the issue list and read the 60-70 issue is not very clear. So we have to come up with some structured way which will give like 3-4 objective. First onboarding is very good, but after that next stage is that it should have a clearly defined 2 3 4 goal. Then they will come into the, once they started coding, right, we don't need to explain about issues, label and other thing. But once they get their hands dirty, they'll keep on exploring here and there. But the transition is important. We have to direct exactly how we want to transition. First PR, second PR, third PR, fourth PR. Then run the code, then run the exercise. The JavaScript developer needs to do JavaScript part and HTML part too. Once they started contributing code, they'll be more comfortable into by themselves, and they have to go get into the issue. They will be more comfortable. So I don't think we need to do very handholding after that stage. Then they will participate into proper team and other thing. You got it? We have proper onboarding process. The second process also very extremely critical. They have to start coding. Once they start coding, they'll feel some attachment to our team. And by the process of code contribution, running other people code, they'll know what's going on. So the running of the code, putting the screenshot and doing some mini exercise, and that kind of thing is very important.
Yeah, to get them familiarized with.
Yes, so do the actual real coding, because most people after doing first PR, second PR, third PR will be frustrated thinking that this project is just junk. Like we are just doing some kind of markdown updation. We are not doing actual coding. So that impression, we have to remove it. We have to do actually coding by means of some exercise. And you can take help from whoever is interested, but this is the extremely critical important part. But we can't direct them to the ocean. We have to give some clearly defined goal, run other people code, do the review other people code, or whatever maybe you think appropriate. Okay. And about Mira, touch about the schedule and timeline. See, there is like in this, I'm not sure how you want to tackle it. So I will leave this entirely to you, because this is like very different people have different time, and but you can create an issue, flesh out your information, and come up with any process. There is one project is available here. If you want to use this board to track the task properly, or you can come up with some prototype in a visualized format. So we can discuss more on that, Mira. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I meant it for people who are a little bit more experienced, but yeah, I guess for beginners, this is not a great option.
No,
and I like the teams and exercise idea much better.
No, the timeline is also good, because we are getting a mix of people. So it is not only for beginner.
Yeah.
It is our responsibility to retain the senior people also. So you can mention that in the heading that it is for intermediate people or something like that, or you can just try it out. You follow any approach you like. Let's see how it evolves. Create an issue. Create any way you want to make that timeline is visible.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we discussed a couple of things, and I encourage everyone to see this is a team, because this third phase, first phase is like kickoff. We come up with all this documentation, handholding, all good. Second phase, we started contributing code. It is just have to educate other people to how to code. That is, we will do that. But we have also the code also written, like PDF. We have done good progress. EPUB and Twitter also, like we are doing some good progress here and there. We'll discuss more on that. But and now third important step is that how we can work together. So I encourage everyone to create tasks, even though it is a very simple task. Even though you know how to fix it, don't fix yourself. You try to play a little bit game here. If you know, let's say margin is a little bit often there, you don't fix that issue by yourself, because then you won't learn by the working with the team. Raise a task and give the proper guidelines. say that even the margin is 10 pixel to change it to 20 pixel, it will give an opportunity other people to check out your code, go through the change and make the changes and fix it. Once they do that, right, they'll do some qualitative improvement on that. So you have to, all people needs to come into their mindset how you can, it is your responsibility. If you want to see your code is fine, you have to encourage and find out a way how you can attract other people to look into your code. You have to play some tactic. I am open to any other tactic, but if you try to do by everything yourself, you won't learn anything. Then it is better off that you work silo in your home and you do go through the pre-code camp or YouTube video and do the project. If you want to work in this open source project Twindle, you have to find a way how you can create a small task, how you can encourage other people participation and discuss, mentor, guide them so that we will get a very good result as a team. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Praful, one question: if you have to, or if you want to put a task, you have to open an issue.
Sorry.
If you want to raise a task or to put a task, you have to open an issue.
Yes. For any task, if you want somebody else to do some discussion, anything, you have to create this new issue, and it is very free form information. Pranab, by the way, your template is disable for the time being. We can enable after some days. Okay, it is a bit confusing to me.
Yeah, no worries.
So this new issue, you put a title and put whatever you like to information. I think you can do labeling also. So you can do that. So everybody I encourage to create lots of issues, you know. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have any other question here? Like how we can work collaboratively and after onboarding process, what next? I think we get some action item, right?
Yes, thank you.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can I create? Can I create a documentation of different concepts like concepts of HTML or CSS or JavaScript?
Yes, you can free to create
and
it.
Okay, thank you.
If you see that here, right? Like here we have documentation section like handlebar and operator we created. So if you create more beautiful documentation, we'll put in the home page. So people who can see that code. See, if you see handlebar, puppeteer, whichever you think it is appropriate, you can create document. If it is created for this Twindle project, file Twindle project, you can create, you can put it into here, like docs folder. And there is a articles folder. You can create the articles. You know, you're free to create anything.
Okay.
Here. I learn HTML, CSS, or whatever may be like. That is fine. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody else want to have any opinion? Any more point? Okay, just let me, I think today we discuss more. Let me just cover a point. So as discussed, I created a thread and I added some, you guys feel free to comment and reply whichever you like, or you can go to issue and you do that. But once homepage, you try to show a little bit interest into doing this activity, because by Thursday we're going to finalize one design. So I want your opinion to be heard. Everybody, you are entitled to, you can just tell whatever you like, dislike. There is, I don't see why you are not participating, but I encourage everyone to participate, you know. And about Twitter, like can you give a little bit update about this thing? Then we'll go to Mira. What you did and
yeah. So in that location, if you can open that folder, so it is the mock folder inside our playground folder. So what I've done is I have used my API key to fetch two responses. One response is the tweet endpoint and the other one is the recent search endpoint. So what is happening here is, suppose you have a thread that someone has created recently within the past 7 days. So using that thread ID, we can fetch details of the first tweet, that is using the tweet endpoint, and subsequent tweets or responses to that same tweet that the author has created, we can fetch using the recent search endpoint. So I have created those, and the response that I have gotten, I have added in the two files that are mentioned in the same folder. And I have also copied some sample code that Postman has generated to run these same responses, same requests, so that anyone who has the key, they can try it out for themselves. And this could be a starting point for anyone who is trying to write the Node.js code to integrate with the Twitter API. That is all what I intended to do there. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kenny. Mira, you were a little bit looking about different approach. You got some traction, and you know what Kenny is able to explain.
Yes, actually, I had posted one comment on the issue that we had created for the Twitter API discussion. Can you open that, Praful? Let me see if I can send the link. I think it's issue number 33. If you can go all the way down, I can explain the. I wish I had seen Kenny's JavaScript code. I mean, I started writing my own code. It's been a long time since I wrote JS code. So good. I'm thankful to Kenny for that piece of code snippet.
Yeah, so I was working in Postman to get these responses.
Oh,
and
I
it's
used
pretty
the
difficult
REST client. So
Sorry?
they didn't have any code. I used the REST client Google Chrome extension. So they didn't have any code generation.
Okay, correct.
Yeah, so basically, Proful, the intention was to use version 2, where just fetch the conversation ID from the tweet that we have, like the tweet that we are trying to read the thread from. So once we get the conversation ID, we can get all the tweets that are tied to that conversation, as long as the tweets are recent and are in the past 7 days. So this is a restriction in the version 2 API, and there is no overcoming it. I mean, Twitter hasn't upgraded their API. They don't have any enterprise account which will allow us to, as long as it's version 2, there's no way for us to go beyond 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
But in version 1.1, it's pretty much the same restriction. Version 1.1, we have we don't have the conversation ID part because that's new in the version 2. But there are 2 ways we can get the same set of tweets. So the first one is just go to the user timeline and fetch the tweets since that last tweet was made, and then filter it out on the basis of the tweets that have been replied to that specific tweet. So it's a 2-step process if you use the first endpoint. If you use the search endpoint directly, it's going to be an enormous set of tweets that we'll get. Again, we need to do some filtering in the JSON response. But the advantage with version 1.1 is using the standard API in version 1.1, we still have the same restriction of the last 7 days. But with version 1.1, we also have premium APIs where we pay, and then we can get older tweets archives.
Yeah, that's good. Like, I think the restriction is applied for both the case, but that premium account will decide later. But it won't stop us from moving ahead. Implementing, right? Because we can look into the recent thing, and we can get our job done. And because our NPM module is driven by, if you see that idea about the first project, the key we are not deciding. It is the user who is going to use it.
Yes.
The phase 1 will give you this is the open source project. So we'll provide these capabilities. So if somebody has premium ID, so they'll give that ID, older one, they'll get the result. If somebody has standard ID, they will get the standard result. But our functionality is not going to change based upon that requirement.
based upon the type of account. Yes.
Yeah. So then approach, maybe you can create a spike for 1 and 2 and just try to compare. Maybe you can just divide it across. So it seems like version 2 also we can have a very clean solution, and you can discuss more with Kenny that what's his opinion offline, and Adrento or somebody else like Melissa also want to join in. So you guys come up with a proper solution and working some code, So that 7 days also fine for the time being. It doesn't restrict us, no need to worry too much about that.
Okay. Yeah, and most likely, if some tweet shows up on our tweet line, so on our timeline, and that's going to be a recent tweet. We are not going to look at. So the naval accounts Twitter thread that you had put in the mock API, that I wasn't able to get the tweets of that particular thread.
Yeah, that means
so I was trying out different ways of getting it.
Yeah, if I need to read double tweet, I have to pay from my pocket.
Yes. Yeah. So I was trying to create new threads and then figure it out using different endpoints, and they all seem to work as long as it's in the past 7 days.
Yeah, most of the tweet are very real-time information. So many people, majority of our audience will be mostly focused on the recent tweet, So the older
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah, older it got, the quality of the tweet is reduced. Again, our capability of the product is not, phase 1 is not restricted by that, because at keys we are not going to manage it. That is, key is have to NPM module, they have to use their own configuration. And in phase 2 we'll discuss how much premium cost, whether I can pay that, or we can come up with some kind of model to sponsorship ad or something. We can figure it out, but that is for phase 2. Or we can launch with 7 tweet, we can mention that clearly. But if you get more traction, right, lots of people are requesting, then we can ask for some amount also, or some donation, sponsorship. We can figure it out some way, That is not a restriction for us. So, but for the version 1, version 2, you guys have more elaborate discussion. My preference is to go to version 2, but if version 2 is not
definitely
capable,
cleaner code with version 2, because the conversation ID was introduced for the specific purpose of collating threads. So yeah, it's definitely cleaner code with version 2, but that restriction is just a showstopper.
Yeah, anyway,
if we try to retrieve our data.
Anyway, because we are building team open source project, this is calling to API is not a big deal. So we can implement version 2, and in future we can implement in version 1 also, because these are simple get calls. For some intermediate to experienced people, it will literally, Kenny, if you ask, I think he will implement every solution in 1 or 2 days. So it is, we can provide some option, switch it option we can do. But Kenny, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, this sounds good. Since Mira has documented the version 1 also, I think it would be good if Mira, you could just make a copy of that JSON response and put it into the mock folder, so that we can have both of those built alongside in parallel. And another thing I was thinking, maybe for phase 2 we could implement some kind of a caching based on the tweet ID or something, so that if we have already picked it up sometime, say one person has already asked to create a document based on one tweet ID, then that could be in some kind of a cache that we could, even if someone else comes and asks at a later time, we could get it from the cache. That is one idea. Or we could even build another module which will use Puppeteer to scrape the data. So that could be some things we can take a look at going forward. But for now, at least having that 7-day limitation isn't a big problem. We can go ahead with it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes. Yeah, I agree completely with you, Kenny and Mira. I think we're doing very good progress, in terms of we are started API. Within 1 day, the amount of progress we are doing is MMS. Thank you guys for jumping in. I think we'll have the...
should I just go ahead and create a wiki with all that information? Because right now it's in a comment. So I wasn't sure if I should create it.
No, not to be sure. Do whatever you like to do. That would going to definitely help other people. Don't worry. Don't think about too much. If you think you need to create more documentation, create more. If you want to duplicate information, that is all good. Whatever you think right, you please do that. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Mira. Sarath?
I think Sharath has dropped off. He has a
Meeting.
hard drop at 45 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, okay. I think we are good. I think today we had a very good discussion. Anybody has any question, or we can drop?
I just want to add to what just now Mira and Praful said, that we shouldn't be waiting for anyone else to tell us what to do. If we feel something should be done, we just do it, and then later ask the question, okay, is it the right thing or not to do? So anyways, this is all open, and we are all trying to contribute in whatever way we can. So there is no need to actually ask for permission to do anything. If you have an idea, you create an issue or you create a documentation. No need to be like scared, or think that okay, we don't know anything. Just create something, and I'm sure others will also jump in. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Kenny.